again, what has to swear in Don Borman and Dana Wrigley for the re-election. Congratulations, gentlemen.
Okay. Raise your right hand and repeat on.
I, Donald Borman, do swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
so long as I shall continue a citizen thereof, so help me God. I, Donald Borman, do swear that I will faithfully discharge all the duties incumbent upon me as a member of the Town Council according to the Constitution and laws of the state, so help me God.
Thank you.
Good to go, Mel?
Good to go.
The next item on the agenda is to consider approving the minutes for the meeting held on December 12th.
I make a motion, we accept the minutes of December 12th. I'll second that.
Moving second, all in favor? Next item on the agenda is to act upon a blanket letter of approval of games of chance at the American Legion.
This item is an annual one that comes before the council, and you're asked to approve and acknowledge that games of chance take place at the Legion Hall, and that you're on record as giving your approval for that activity to occur.
I make a motion, we accept this letter of approval for games of chance. Second.
Second, all in favor? Thank you. Next one, we'd like to discuss visiting the municipal department facilities.
This item is on your agenda because Dawn and I had a conversation. The council has, in the past, made visits to businesses in town, and I think we've all found that useful from time to time, and I think members of the community appreciate those visits. Dawn's suggestion was it might be equally useful if we made visits to the various municipal facilities and see exactly some of the operational issues that occur. I guess we've been to the transfer station, and everyone thought that that was useful to help understand the recycling program. And so we wondered if the council would like to devote some time to that as a group, as you did tonight in your visit to the wood boiler, to continue that series by us dropping in. I've talked with Jeff Hall. We thought this time of year with snowstorms predicted for tomorrow and I guess a few days from now, that the Public Works Garage might be the first one on your stop. And Jeff has suggested a time if you'd like to do it, but before we get into the details, maybe you'd like to determine whether or not the council wishes to spend some extra time, because it does require investment that, you know, we all have limited amounts of time to give to this kind of thing. But that was the conversation we had. Don, do you want to say?
Yeah, additionally, we had asked the department heads to come in with a fairly flat budget, but we also told them if there are things that were needed, either currently that they really should have in addition to what they've had, or if there's some long-range things, that they should bring those forward. And this might give us a chance to hear some of their long-range plans. One of our goals is to, look at our planning process. Additionally, it's always good for the people who work in the town to have us around so they can feel that what they're doing is verified and confirmed by us, and I just think it would be great for us to meet with them periodically.
Thank you for the suggestion. I think it's a good idea.
I think we should.
Yeah. Do you have any suggested or recommended dates that you're
Yeah,
looking at?
I do have a recommended date, and we realize your schedules vary. The Public Works Department, of course, if we get into a situation like tomorrow, we have to reschedule so that we don't interrupt snow plowing operations this time of year. But Jeff made a suggestion that will probably be good for some and not for others. But he hope that you might be able to come to the garage on January 3rd, which is next Thursday, at 10 a.m. And it is hard to select a time that's a good time for everybody, and we can try to vary these so that there isn't any member of the council who's permanently excluded from the visits because of the way they're timed. But that worked for Jeff, and we hope it would work for at least the majority of the council.
Works for me right now.
Works for me.
It's a good time for me.
It is a good time.
I knew there'd be an issue, but,
No problem.
would
I've
you
been
like
down there
to-
enough so I know what's going on.
okay? And I'm sure that Jeff and I would be happy to go around another time and do with Byron what the others will see. So that
That'd be
when it
good.
comes to a budget talk, you'll have the same information that the other council members have. And
That'd be good.
I'm sure that Jeff would be agreeable to that, as I am,
Probably afternoon would be
in the afternoon.
Yeah.
Yeah.
sometime between two, what's that, what time?
They,
On a normal
well,
day.
3:30 usually if things are going smoothly.
Yeah.
We'll
Usually.
work on that.
Yeah, okay,
Okay,
sounds
but
good.
is there a motion then to do
Oh.
that for the minutes? or-
I'll move that we meet each of the departments and start with the public works.
Second it.
Move second, all in favor? There we go.
Okay, thank you very much. I'll tell Jeff.
The next one is to make, to act on a piece of tax acquired property on High Street.
We have some good news on that one, because the council gave some direction at the last meeting that we would extend an offer to the owner of the property. And it did that following the meeting, the next day. Or I think actually the buyer was in the room and knew he was kind of waiting, but he took some time to consider the offer. And he came back with a counteroffer that was less than we had proposed. And I said, well, it's unfortunate because I had a figure in mind that I was authorized to sell it at, and his offer fell short. But I told him what that number would have been, and had he come back with that number, I could have sold it to him. And he then adjusted what he had told me to the figure that you proposed. So the offer that we made and that we signed was to sell the 86 High Street property for $25,000. The only stipulation is that the prior owner issue a release of claim. They had indicated to us previously that they would do that. Wasn't Mr. Muggero's attorney does not see that as a difficulty, and we should be able to obtain that shortly, not looked upon as some of their significant glitch. So I think we've done what you asked us to do at the last meeting, and we're pleased to be able to take that off from our list of active items once we complete the sale.
I'd like to make a motion that we take that money and put it with the other money we put away for future property purchases when we do get it. I'll second that.
Move second, all in favor of that? Opposed?
I would just like to see the money be used to reduce taxes.
I think I got that noted, thank you.
Off to the manager's report.
Okay, I put in your packets a report from the library for the months of October and November. And Carol has included in there the circulation figures for both months. She's reported there on some of the activities. You mentioned the candidates forum that seemed to be a successful event held last fall in October. She's mentioned in the report some visits that were conducted by members of various classes throughout the system, and members of the Library Advisory Board, and some cultural events that have taken place over there. So it's a fairly full report on activities in that department since the last one you received earlier this fall. The next item is a follow-up to something that was discussed at the last council meeting. There was a question raised about whether the intersection out here, leading from the traffic signal up KMD, could be better protected from cars that are merging together as they head up KMD. And I had been at a meeting in this room that Mike helped set up back in the fall. A citizen had asked to meet with us and DOT and Senator Cates to see if that problem could be addressed. And one of the outcomes of that meeting was to put those posts in place. But back then, I think it was September, we had learned that the DOT was going to try to get that done this fall as sort of a trial. They can't leave them there during the winter because they hinder snow plowing operations. But I got back with Jamie Andrews, the contact at Maine DOT, and he said that the arrangements had been made and that those delineator posts will be installed in May, so that hopefully the painted line that's a little thicker now than it was is helping, but people have said there's still an issue with people who come out of Fairfield Street and then immediately slide over to the right, and it kind of creates a traffic hazard there. But we feel that once we get these delineator posts, you've probably seen them, they're the upright ones about 3 feet tall, and they put them a certain distance apart or a ways down the roadway to maintain the separation of the lanes. We will be seeing that in the spring, and the Maine DOT is taking that onto the project. Next item on, if there's no questions about that, the next item I wanted to offer you is the proposed budget calendar for the season that will begin soon. Doug and I have arranged to have the budget materials distributed to the department heads to begin working on January 3rd, next week. We have arranged here for the usual series of 5 meetings for the council and the budget advisory committee to meet, and I have proposed a review schedule here that breaks up the material into hopefully chunks that can be dealt with at each of these various meetings. And there's some extra time at the end of the process for a discussion meeting, because generally after the presentations there are items that the council and the budget committee members want to discuss on, drill down into, get more answers, have the budget heads come back for specific discussion. So there's a slot for that discussion to occur, followed by another meeting, if needed, for voting as we move up to the annual town meeting. And I came across something that I wanted to mention. There had been discussion last year about what night or what day the annual town meeting should occur. And the discussion was, how do you get the most people there, and is there a night or a day that would bring better participation? But I happened to note as I was reviewing things that the town charter sets this date, that it will be the first Tuesday in May. So we know the charter can be changed, but this date, May 7th, 2013, is what the charter says we'll do until someone changes the charter, just to bring that up for informational purposes. I hope this is satisfactory. There are quite a few, as we set this schedule, there are quite a few dates we have to avoid for various reasons, and there are many people with many nights that work better or worse than others, and we've tried to recognize in putting this together as many of those as we can. There are holidays, there are vacation weeks when people are away, school vacation weeks when people are not available, and so we've done the best we could with this. And again, I'm sure that there's probably going to be dates here that don't work for certain members of the council or the budget committee, but this was trying